Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So last weekend I went to the Carolina Smackdown GT down in Columbia, South Carolina. This is the first time they've run this GT down there. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since any GT has been held down there. So it was good to see, and it was a really well-run tournament, lots of fun. So if you remember from my battle reports, the last report I did was against Jerry Parsley. He was the head of the U.S. Masters, is now, I guess, again the head of the U.S. Masters for Ninth Age. Um, and we played in the final game, and I beat him, and he didn't like that very much. It was fantastic. Well, so he drove down to my house, picked me up, and we drove down to the tournament, which is several hours of driving, and we were staying in the same place. And the whole time we knew we were going to be matched up again for game one of this tournament. Fantastic, fantastic matchup. I loved it. He's bringing his Undying Dynasties. I'm going back to my roots playing Kingdom of Equitaine. I used to play Bretonnia for years back in Warhammer Fantasy. And yeah, I didn't get a chance to play test this list much. A buddy of mine put it together, and I played a couple games. I said, good enough, let's go. And I was looking to have a lot of fun this tournament. I don't have high expectations just because I think I need to get used to a list more, you know, before it's going to go that well for me. So this is game one. Uh, let's go through his list. Starting on his right, he's got a unit of 6 chariots. And this obviously is a very themed army. It's a kind of a Celtic barrows theme. It's really, really cool. Not that there are a lot of elephants up where the Celts lived, but whatever. So then he has a battle sphinx, and behind it he's got the casket of Fatep. And next to them he's got a big unit of Necropolis Guard with his general. His general's only a Tomb Harbinger. List is in the description. 2 units of archers behind him. I imagine this is where his the one on the right has his Hierophant or Hierophant equivalent there, and then of course there's one on the left with another spellcaster. Then he's got a, let's see, up front he's got a Colossus, that big kind of giant skeleton thing walking forward. He's got another smaller unit of archers, and that may have a second spellcaster. I don't know. To the left he's got another battle sphinx, and then behind it he's got 2 of the charnel catapults that are represented by giant skeletons throwing stones. It's just a really, really cool and themed army. Meanwhile, mine is very simple. I've got 4 units of Knights of the Realm. In the very middle is a unit of Grail Knights, Knights of the Grail, whatever. For characters, I got a level 4 with the +1 to cast and dispel with white magic, and I've got a Battle Standard Bearer with a pretty cool kit. But he's actually, I usually build my BSBs very defensive because that's their job, is just to give rerolls. Because this list is designed to go character light, and we needed a little bit of extra punch, this Grail Paladin has like the Dragon Lance and the Virtue of Might, so he can actually kill some stuff. Anyway, so I've got 3 units of Yeomen, of mounted Yeomen, or Yeomen Outriders. 2 of them are being represented by dogs. I called them hunting dogs and made sure my opponents knew exactly what was going on, and they have throwing weapons, and I've got 2 trebuchets behind my lines. But that's really it. It's kind of a blunt instrument here. So I deployed first. Of course, my opponent still won the roll to go first, and he does that. I was fine both ways. He shot a ton of stuff at me, and I think he killed a dog. Not a dog. I'm making the almost moves. A Yeoman Outrider. Just really couldn't do much with the shooting. So we go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 1. So when I play at my best, I play intuitively, which is I think that's why I need to play a list a lot before I start doing well with it. So I move up very, very aggressively, and my gut's telling me, it's like, even though you think you have this figured out, don't move up that aggressively. Bad things can happen. But nevertheless, I did that. During magic, I don't think anything of significance happened. During shooting, I landed, I think, 2 stone throwers. I think I got 2 direct hits on his Necropolis Guard, ended up killing 9 of them, which looks great, but he can grow them back without too much difficulty, at least a few at a time. And I really think I need to get this unit down another 8 or so models before I'm willing to charge anything into it. I mean, these guys could be nasty, especially if he gets any kind of magic buffs on there. So go to the Undying turn 2. a couple things going on. He charges one of my fast cav units and I flee, and he redirects into another, and I let him just stay there. Um, yeah, then he brought up both of his tomb scorpions, and I'll show you a better, closer picture in the middle. He put them both in front of my two rightmost units, and then he backed up his skeletons. And I was really kind of confused by that because it seemed to me that he knew where the scorpions were, so he knew that my knights weren't going to be able to charge or overrun into his archers. Um, so it seemed to me that just keep him there, or maybe I could if he was closer. I don't know. It looks like that. Here's the right hand side. And then, of course, his Battle Sphinx just totally annihilates one unit of fast cav, overruns into the other. And also, I guess I should say, during shooting, he actually killed someone. His charnel catapults are shooting from my trebuchets. He didn't like he didn't like me getting two direct hits on his Necropolis guard. So this is all this strength 3 shooting. He just really just can't do enough. And let's see. I think I made a mistake in previous picture. I think what happened is he beat one unit fast cav, and I failed my panic on the other, and he landed right where you see him. I don't know if I would have done that. I think I probably would have stayed still with this guy, because my knights are going to countercharge him no matter what. But if he had stayed still, he'd have been farther back, and I'd be a lot closer to his nasty stuff and allow him to countercharge. Regardless, go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 2. So charge the Grail Knights with my BSB into one Battle Sphinx and another unit into its flank. I'm thinking I'm just going to kill this thing outright and reform. The unit, well, other units you can kind of see what they're doing. The ones on the right both charged his scorpions. And that's what I mean by his skeleton chariots being so far away. He's so far away that he really doesn't have a countercharge against me, except that it keeps me from overrunning, but I'm okay just killing those things and then stopping. It's still only turn 2. So we do this and just flubbed it. I think, maybe not. Yeah, I think I had a buff on these guys. I don't know if I had a magic buff on them or not. But anyway, the Dragonlance hero just failed his rolls. The Grail Knights did okay. I did some wounds to this thing. But yeah, he came back with 3 wounds on Grail Knights, and he takes some more wounds, I think. I don't know. Either way, he's down to 1 wound left, and I'm stuck. So I reformed the unit on the left. Instead of facing him and have my butt sticking out to be countercharged by everything in its mother, I reform it so that, still in his flank. I still have the same number of models in combat, but not nearly what it was. So we go to Undying Dynasties turn 3. So the chariots that were on the right, they charged the one knight unit. They weren't all that far away, and even though they kind of had to swoop over quite a bit. And he tried to charge his Battle Sphinx into the flank of that unit, and he failed. Thank goodness. Had he made both of those, I would have really been in trouble. Even with this, I think I'm probably in a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, he's still hanging back with his Necropolis Guard, which I just love. Unless that thing gets a lot more dead than it currently is, I'd like to not face it in combat at all. So there's that. I'm nervous, if we're being honest. I think I should be steadfast. My concern actually is my Grail Knights aren't going to be steadfast. I'm hoping I can kill that Battle Sphinx so that they're out of combat and it's not an issue. Let's see, one Trebuchet blows itself. Or no, one Trebuchet put a wound on itself during my shooting phase, and then one of his charnel catapults. Here he is. He threw a rock all the way across the field. That is a strong skeleton. And killed my catapult. Meanwhile, he's shooting. Kills, does a couple wounds and shoots some more. Kills the rest of this fast cav unit. And then I don't have a picture after combat, but overall it looks like this. Yeah, he came in. His chariots, they did some wounds, but really it wasn't that bad. I wasn't able to kill the Battle Sphinx. That wasn't too surprising. Everybody's stuck, and I'm thinking, okay, that's as good as I can do. So I bring in knight units for support, and it looks like that. In hindsight, I'm thinking that unit at the top, that was a mistake, because I'm certainly going to win this combat. But the best, what am I going to do? Reform? overrun. I mean, either way, those Necropolis guards have an easy charge against me. And I don't know if it's necessary. If I charge in the flank of the Battle Sphinx and kill it, that's what I need. The Chariots being locked in combat with my other knight unit, I don't care about. They're actually blocking my opponent's army. I think it would have been better just to let that unit of knights sit with those Chariots for a while. Meanwhile, on the left, take another block of knights into a Battle Sphinx. A little bit scared about that because those things are toughness. I mean, they're just hard to wound. I'm strength 6. In the magic phase, I do get +1 strength on this unit through the lore or the path of white magic. So they're strength 7, so I'm wounded on 5, so I have a chance. So it was very nice. And after combat, yeah, they were able to kill it through that and combat res. And a lot of that was just him not doing too many wounds to me. I think he did. Well, we can look real quick. Yeah, he did 2 wounds to me. The unit of knights charging in with the Grail Knights and Paladin, they combined, they were able to take off the last wound off the one unit. That was great. The other unit came in, did a bunch of wounds, even with static combat res. The problem is there are just so many wounds in that chariot unit that I couldn't crumble him completely. And that guy's sitting there, I think he's sitting there with like 1 wound left. But whatever it is, he's just sitting there. I'm like, oh, shoot. Now that unit of knights at the top is stuck in combat. And so if I get countercharged, I can't, otherwise I'd just flee, just, go to safety and live to fight another day, that kind of thing. But, yeah, that was actually really bad. And maybe that's why I'm thinking in hindsight I shouldn't have charged him in, because if I had more chariots sitting there, what the hell do I care? Let him sit there. All right, so it seems so he charged his Necropolis Guard and his Colossus into the unit of knights on the left. And I don't know what he needed on the roll for the Necropolis Guard. I was just hoping he didn't make it. I think he only needed like a 7, whatever it was. I did not feel like charging because the Colossus was pretty close. So I just said I'd take it and hope to get lucky, and he failed with the Necropolis Guard, which was very nice. The Colossus coming in isn't ideal, but it doesn't worry me nearly as much. Then he charged his unit of archers into the flank of this unit, and I'm like, this has his Hierophant in there. Like right on, and he's touching 2 knights. This guy's like, what, toughness 3, 6-up regen, 2 wounds? I think he just gave me... I don't know if it's going to give me the game per se, but, that certainly helps when his army starts crumbling. It's a useful way to get rid of Colossus that otherwise might be difficult to deal with. So we go to the shooting phase, and he drops a rock on my Grail Knight unit, and it scatters just enough that the hole hits her. Now I have less than 5 rank and file models, so she takes a high strength hit. Other models take a low strength hit. Doesn't wound them, but it does wound her. Now I had a wound token on her because of the lore attribute for the white magic, so that absorbed 1 and 2 wounds went on her. Well, that's actually okay because during my phase, if I cast the spell that gives me +1 strength, that's the booster version. The regular version means you can actually heal a wound. So she might be able to get to safety a little bit, but really I need to get her into a bigger night bus. But there's no time because then he unloads all these archers. I mean, archers are strength 3, but now that I have to allocate every 6th one on her, strength 3 does just fine, and he shoots her in the eye. Kills her. Meanwhile, the Colossus goes in, wins combat. Because I'm -1 leadership, I break. Luckily, he doesn't catch me. It looks like that. Not an ideal position because I can rally, he charges me again, rinse and repeat. It's not a good thing. Luckily, after combat, not luckily, after combat, of course, we're done with the chariot, and being done with the chariot means we can pivot and then charge again. So that obviously isn't good for my opponent. So the unit on the left is going to charge that Colossus in the flank. I should be okay. I might be okay. I think so. The other unit just kind of pivots where it's at. And the unit at the top, oh my goodness, he charges in. He can't do anything to my guys. He's strength 3, crappy armor save, and all that kind of stuff. My 2 knights put 2 wounds on his Hierophant. I'm like, this is awesome. And he dies, picks him up. He's like, that sucks. I'm going to start crumbling. And then he's like, wait. I have a 6-up regen. And he throws 2 dice, and he rolls 2 6s. I kid you not, you can't make this stuff up. Are you freaking kidding me? And I can't really reform. I mean, I could. I guess I could go to face them too wide or something, but anyway, they are where they are. We go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 4. The unit that pivoted at the top tries to charge his archers. I thought this would be great. I'm going to charge in, easily beat that unit, overrun, and just hope to get out of line of sight of his Necropolis Guard. And they fail the damn charge. Meanwhile, the unit of knights that pivoted charge the flank of that Colossus. After combat, they win and reform. So my knights, my knights are whittled down. They're doing some hard combat with some big monsters. But my opponent, what he has left, with the exception of the Necropolis Guard, I'm not worried about. And after combat, this time I still don't kill him. We just whiff. Now I'm just really mad not killing that guy. It's not going to matter in the long. It would have helped. It would have crumbled some stuff. But this unit was going to be tied up. I mean, archers in the flank aren't going to crumble nearly fast enough to do anything. So this unit is just going to be useless. But you see, the problem is, because I failed that charge, when he charges in with the Necropolis Guard, he's going to win combat, but he's not going to kill them all. So I'd rather him just kill them all. Those guys overrun straight. They can't do anything. But if he breaks from combat, I'll have to run center to center from his skeleton unit, which means that Necropolis Guard, if they pursue first, get a nice juicy flank charge into that other knight unit. In hindsight, I wonder if it would have been best to back that unit out of the way. I don't know. That seemed pretty far ahead, and I thought I'd make that charge. But I'm also thinking, I don't know. He's going to win combat. He's got 2 units pursuing. I've got Swift Stride. I might just get away. And if I get away, I save at least half points, maybe full points in that unit. And the other unit, if they get flank charged by the Necropolis Guard, I might lose the whole unit. But if I don't, I can flee. I'll break from combat, may just get away and save some points. We go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 5. Now, I should also say that we both realized at this point we weren't going to get 6 turns in. We knew it was only going to be 5. So that affects some decisions about who's moving where and stuff, because we knew there wouldn't be another turn. So knowing there's no other turn, I'm not worried about moving my knights out of the way from a potential overrun. So they just go up to the middle of the table. Whoever has more scoring units within the range of that thing at the middle of the table gets extra bonus points. So my guys are sitting up there. He kills this unit, and of course he runs him down. And then he is like you can see him there. What would have been intriguing is if we were going turn 6, I would have moved these guys differently, but probably what would have happened is I would set them up for a triple charge at the end, and that would have been a really tough decision to make. Well, that's not true. This would have been his turn. Yeah, I just would have moved those guys away out of line of sight, but that would have given my opponent that center objective, which ended up being huge because he won. If you go by the strictly what was killed, he won 11-9, but because we won the scenario objective, we get +3. He gets a -3. So it was a 11, 12, 13, 14 to 8. And then there are weird points for other things, not really game related. So, yeah, we ended up pulling out a victory at the end, although not a very big one. I was a little frustrated how things worked out in this game because I really kind of liked how things were going. I made some mistakes early on. I think I moved up a little too close, and yeah, whatever. Him killing my mage, just different, failing the charge, different things like that. We all have them every game. It's going to happen. Overall, a really fun game. Great to have 2 tournament wins in a row against Jerry. I'm sure he's loving that. And yeah, from here we go to game 2. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video. You can favorite it. You can share it. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.